Standing behind the large Hilda, we have a beautiful lady from Lenchi, one of the salon ladies. And again, any of you who are animal lovers, you will find this particular one. You might want to have her in your collection. What I love about the big salon ladies is that they can either be posed sitting or standing. Either way, they just look wonderful. Look at her with that white kitten on her shoulder. That is just grand. I love it, and everyone who sees it, who loves animals, say, oh, I want that, I want that. Behind her, two more dolls from the half doll collection. I call them the flapper ladies with cosmetics. One of them with a mirror in her hand, and the other applying her lipstick as she's holding her little hand mirror. And the wonderful cloche hats that are in such style right now. Behind them is a wonderful antique dress, from the antique costume collection in this auction. And then just to the left of the dress are four more wonderful half dolls, and we've arranged them so you can see the various sizes, the one in the back being an extremely large size. And when I was talking before about the size of the Hilda, imagine if you were a maker of the porcelain half dolls, how difficult it would be to model or to sculpt, to pour in a form and then to take out and then to paint and then to fire again. These grand ladies with their very exaggeratingly stylized arms without them breaking. So to find them contact like this, very, very luxury item. Behind them is standing a wonderful Edwardian fashion lady by the Gebruder Heubach firm, very, very wonderfully done, wearing her very stylized costume. Now let's sweep forward again. Just to the left of the Lenchi lady with the kitten is the other molded hair bonnet doll I wanted to show you. Now when you first look at that doll, you might think, oh, she's got a fabric hat, because if you look at her up close, the brim of this cap is black velvet. The reason is it was designed, it's very, very strange. She has a solid dome head, no painted hair, no sculpted hair, only this white cap perched on the very top of her head in the very stylized manner of how that style hat would be worn. Designed so that the person who owned it must apply the wig, or the factory would apply the wig, tumbling from the hair, and then a fabric band around the hat. Never seen it before. Very, very rare model to have. Behind her is one of the flapper girls. They were made by Simon and Halbig and Kuno and Otto Dressel and Armand Marseille, and they had long, elongated bodies, elongated, slender legs, and we have two of them in this particular auction. We have this one, and then we have a lady in a black dress, and I don't know if I'm showing her or not, but if we do, I'll point it out to her. Now, just to the left of the lady with the white cap, the white sculpted cap, three very, very wonderful dolls that you could say are from the, let's call it if we're in larger generic terms, a bathing beauty category of three new dolls, and each holding one with pouring a vase, all kind of in the Grecian theme, with various instruments or accessories that they are holding. Behind them, three half dolls with sculpted bonnets or holding some rare accessory like the large basket of fruit that is known as Lavinia, in reference to the painting that it seems to have been inspired by. To the left of them, we have two more wonderful German bisque characters, and again, placing them side by side, you can see the wonderful characterization that each of these dolls developed. It's very interesting. When I'm cataloging character dolls, it's sometimes very hard to find the words to express the different emotions that they are showing. And sometimes, particularly this is true with Cameron Reinhardt dolls, their painting is so simplistic, so simple, just a deft touch, that when I see the description, I think, well, that's not very much, but then you realize it's not. It's a whole combination, the wonderful modeling of the face, the way the painting complements the modeling, and the complexion as well. We have another half doll, and let's just skip down to the bottom since we're almost there. We have two examples of black complexion dolls from the era. This one, a wonderful Simon and Halbig model with very, very beautiful light brown complexion. And in front, sitting on the floor, is the first model from the Cameron Reinhardt Art Series, and here in brown complexion, which is extremely, extremely rare to find. Another little Cameron Reinhardt boy, and if you saw his sister before, standing on the other side of the Lenchi lady, they're wearing brother and sister matching costumes in the Tyrolean style. Another wonderful example of the early teddy bears. Now skipping up to the cabinet, we have on the left-hand side in the bottom row a gorgeous early Gemot with the so-called wraparound eyes that are so highly desired by collectors. And this, with its dress that you can just barely see behind it, and some other undergarments and pieces being sold from the original family of the original owners. Actually, a family here in Annapolis who just called us and said, we have this doll. Do you think it'd be worth anything? And I said, oh, well, let's give it a shot, and you'll have the provenance of it. She's a beautiful, beautiful face. Standing next to her, everyone loves Leo Moss. Another wonderful example of the Leo Moss baby, this one named Crying Georgie, and purchased from us by Lillian Hamm, I think about 10 years ago, and notable for the number of tears he has pouring down his eyes. Very, very sad little boy, but in just wonderful condition. We have then 4 examples from, of course, the beloved firm of Emile Gemot. We have the Tete Gemot in different sizes, and I love this little girl down here with her wonderful red hair and her burgundy costume, and her older sister also with the auburn hair and burgundy costume, that being an original costume. And then behind them, the beloved Gemot Triste in a wonderful antique whitewear costume, possibly from Gemot, original wig, and I think most of them have their original shoes as well. The one in burgundy in the back has the gold-lettered Gemot shoes. Very desirable. Moving up to the top shelf, we have 3 dolls from the Asian series by Lenchi's, very rare to find, and interesting. Like the girl in the front is basically the 300 series, but not really, because look at her face is a little more slender. She has the painted angled eyes and side glancing, and just wonderful detail of the embroidery on her costume. The kneeling one is from the early period, the early 1920s, and look at the line. This is how, when firms really have artistic spirit, certain things you really should pay attention to. Look at the line of how the hair works, what the so-called widow's peak in the middle of the forehead of the hair being drawn back, and look how it exactly matches the angular shape of the nose, and it's almost like a straight line to the nose. A very, very wonderfully designed example of one designed to be posed kneeling or sitting. And then we have in the back the wonderful little boy with his wide hat. We have 4 more characters here, 2 in the back, art characters from the Cameron Reinhardt Company, and one being the very rare 107 model, Carl. He's wonderful with his brimmed hat. And in the front, I particularly wanted to call it you, I love this little Just Me, because she is so in style. She's right there, like late 1920s, early 1930s, little felt costume, I believe to be entirely factory original. And then I'm going to step out of the way because I want you to see, check it out. Okay, there is a costume. If you go to Renaissance fairs, if you go to New Year's Eve parties, if you have any kind of a costume party, original French costume from turn of the century, perhaps a bit earlier, some of the little hanging down silk pieces have the original tag on the back from Au Paradis des Enfants in Paris, the store which sold that wonderful costume. Fabulous, rich satin fabric, and this is, I'm hoping you realize that this is on top the separate hat. And there it is. And no, I will not put it on. But that's a wonderful, wonderful piece upcoming in this auction. Now I can stay back here, and while I'm doing that, look at this other costume from our collection of costumes we have coming. I grant you have to own a big doll to wear this, or why not just display it as a costume? I think more and more collectors are starting to realize that just costumes in themselves are so rare to find, nice costumes now. Look at this one with the little children playing along the top. And when I started to look at it to describe it, I said, hey, wait a minute, that's St. Nicholas in the middle. And there he is, St. Nicholas, and all of the children coming to either, I don't know, beg a treat, give a treat, say hello, whatever. But it's a wonderful, wonderful costume, and beautifully, beautifully preserved with banners all the way around. Even has the remnants of the original store label, so clearly never been used. And still they keep coming. And also, folks, I want to remind you, don't forget, I'm not showing here any of the dolls that were shown in the previous 4 videos that you also can link onto to see further dolls, some of the really rare treasures from the Dance of the Hours marquee catalog. But here we have also, I brought out some of my favorites and things that I know collectors have said, oh, I want to see this one, I want to see this one. So let's look at some more. We have some wonderful Schoenhut children in the Dance of the Hours marquee auction, and one of them is that great girl standing there in her simple little sailor outfit in the midst of all the glamorous French dolls. But she just looks pensive and sweet and intelligent, and look at that face. What does it remind you of? Indeed, one of the Cameron Reinhardt Bisque characters, because there was a lot of back and forth, let's call it inspiration from one firm to another. And she is one of them with her original wig, just a great doll. She's standing next to the bed in which a wonderful little French bisque doll is sitting. She is a mechanical girl, and when you wind her up, she sits upright and she tries to grasp the little boy who swings back and forth. And it's her little toy thing that she's playing with. It's a wonderful piece. Behind her, we have, at the far top, we have the boy in his wonderful French costume. You know, you could have him standing next to that people's costume in your doll room and have a big festival going on at all times. And he's holding his tambourine. He's absolutely great. There is a circle dot Bru by Leon Casimir Bru in a beautiful soutache trimmed dress. In front of her is the French Bisque Bébé by a Tuilier named A.T. There is the other flapper lady I mentioned to you in the black dress, okay? And to her left, a little sweet Jumeau from their earliest Bébé period, the Bébés with the very sweet, shy faces, and many collectors aim to have those. It's very funny. All Jumeaus are beautiful. Well, not all of them, but most of them are beautiful. But all styles of them are beautiful, and collectors either like the really highly dramatic period with richly painted brows and eyeshadow, and some people said, please, I love this little shy face girl and that model, and it is the very earliest and very hard to find. Okay, move along to the other side of the AT, standing on the upper shelf, is a wonderful French fashion, early period, 1860 to 65, with her wonderful original costume. Behind her is Bébé by Leon Casimir Bru with beautiful bisque hands, wearing her antique bridal costume. And in the catalog, she's presented on the same page as 2 wonderful wedding domes, a wonderful tradition of French society in the 1800s. One of those wedding domes, by the way, being a very rare musical one, very wonderful to find. In front of her is the pair by Vichy of the waltzing couple in original costumes. And to their left is another French fashion doll in exquisite original costume, and once again, which you just simply find it increasingly hard to ever find at all anymore. And when they have the original wig like that with their ringlet curls and the original costume, even matching bonnet, you just have to have those and preserve them. They're such treasures. In front of her, we have a wonderful doll. Again, you hear me keep talking about costumes, but I'm kind of a bear about it. When you can find wonderful original costumes from the different periods of French doll making or German doll making, this is what you need to go for. And here is a superb example of one in her original box, by the way, I would mention. Standing next to her, sans any costume, is look at that early Jumeau. Now, I don't know. In some ways, that body is so wonderful. It's kind of, you could have a wonderful scene in your doll room of the doll like in their dressing room and she would be looking at different dresses and things, it would be great. Or you can dress her, but we wanted you to see, for the purposes of deciding if she was going to come and live at your home, we wanted you to see her entirely because the body is so perfect with her original soft mohair wig that is so increasingly hard to also find these wonderful mohair wigs. Now coming down to the front, we showed you the little red dress already. Next to that is Fanny, Armand Marseille's Fanny, and you'll see another one in a minute who's a slightly larger size. So really rare to find, and Lillian obviously liked them because she has two examples of the beloved Fanny. Then there is the Mein Liebling with her, again, soft mohair curls. And next to her, another great character doll by Lenchi with the original costume and the pocket and the front with the embroidered name. Just grand. Again, we don't have too many pieces of furniture, but the ones we have are great. And here's a gilt chair, a French-style gilt chair, and covered with 3 bonnets, which are all being offered in the collection, 3 antique doll bonnets in wonderful collection, being admired and perhaps one being chosen by the second Gemot Triste, which is offered in the auction, this being the brown-eyed example. Very, very beautiful. And that's the larger Fanny standing next to her. Moving up to the shelf in back is Gemot Bébé in original Gemot couturier dress from the workshops of Ernestine Gemot, who oversaw that aspect of the doll business in the company factory. And this is a dress from her workshops, and even including the little signed Gemot aqua kidskin shoes and the matching cap. A large size of the all bisque miniature, which always seems contradictory to say large all bisque miniature, but there it is. Then we have a wonderful pair of Bonnie Babes with more of the little miniature teddy bears from the auction, and another all bisque with a miniature teddy bear, and the 2 automatons, which I showed you in the earlier videos. I wanted to show you 2 of the carriages, and actually if we had had the on-site auction, we would have had about 5 others because Lillian Hamm had some wonderful doll carriages, but these 2 I actually put in the catalog. And I wanted to show you this one in particular from the side, which I have not seen that style before, with a gracefully curved hood. Very, very beautifully done. And sitting inside there, I don't know if you can see it or not, is Bilo. And what's significant about this Bilo that you cannot see, socket head, composition body, not the cloth body. Again, trying to appeal to various markets. Very, very occasionally, the Bilo was made with socket head. Not something that Grace Story Putnam approved of, because to her the whole concept of the doll was to be cuddly and soft. But the company said we can appeal to different markets, and actually they probably didn't because they're very, very rarely found. Not many were made. Some wonderful teddy bears in the collection, and we're showing here 3 of them to you. And another wonderful little Schoenhut boy in his original chemise with button. And then finally, ending up where we started with the Schoenhuts again, and this is the second of the Schoenhut circuses that we're offering, this being the full-size Schoenhut circus, and the clown standing gloriously above all else. And as everyone says with the circus, folks, the show must go on. I hope you enjoyed this, and I know it's not the same as walking into that room, but I wanted to give you a little bit of flavor of it, and hopefully we can all share in this and make a wonderful, wonderful event. Thanks very much for watching.